Whenever I recall the tragedy of that night, I still feel shivering. I can't stop the tears from flowing, and my heart is as painful as being cut by a knife. But Henry on the other side, frowning, slowly exhaled a mouthful of smoke. I told you, I'm here to hear the truth. This story of yours seems perfect, but you have one big hole. How did your younger brother get to your vacation home? I almost stopped breathing and stared at him. Your younger brother was obviously in the hospital. How did he come here for no reason? And hiding in your room? I answered with tears in my eyes. I picked him up. On the eve of the vacation, I went to the hospital early to see my younger brother. He knew we were going on vacation, and he was angry and insisted on going with us. I dared to refuse my brother's request, so I took him and hid him in the basement of the house. Early the next morning, took him and hid in the trunk of the car. When we got to the vacation home, I secretly let my brother out and let him sleep in my younger sister's and my room because he never wanted to sleep with us, saying we stank. So my sister and I slept in the first floor utility room. My brother was thinking of getting up early in the morning to surprise mom and dad, but he didn't realize to be killed by his mom at night. And I thought to myself again, if I hadn't told him on a whim that we were going on vacation, maybe he wouldn't have died. I look a lot like my younger brother. I was malnourished as a child, so I'm as tall as my brother. Henry nodded. Looks like you're the one your mom wanted to kill, huh? I nodded even though I didn't want to admit it. The person my mom always wanted to kill the most was me because she thought I was the one who caused my younger brother to have a heart attack. My younger brother asked me to sneak to the school to meet him. He said he wanted to introduce me to his classmates. I agreed, and after more than an hour's ride, carrying a basket of fruits that I picked with my own hands yesterday, I was especially happy. I finally saw my brother and their friends. But before I could bring out the fruits, I was greeted with a lot of cynical words. This is your older sister. She looks like a beggar. Why does she smell so bad? I hate it. My heart gradually went cold. Well, although my younger brother's face was not good, he still invited me to eat KFC. But what surprised me was that he pushed the leftover chicken bones toward me. I immediately felt that my blood was boiling. A strong sense of humiliation made my lips were bitten out of the blood. You're lying. Didn't you say that your sister likes to eat your leftover food? It's no fun. I'm not playing with you anymore. My brother was anxious, and a hand grabbed the chicken bone hard into my mouth. I was in a hurry, pushed him, and he slipped and fell to sit on the ground. Suddenly his face was white, and his hand covered his heart, cold sweat, twitching. This is why my mom tried to kill me, thinking I was the cause of my brother to have a heart attack. Henry stubbed out his cigarette and stood up, his eyes staring sharply at me, and said, "Not bad, very impressive. The logic is flawless, but you overlooked one point at that time. The conversation between you and your younger brother in the hospitalization ward. There is another person who heard it. That is me. I told you that if your younger brother hadn't died, I wouldn't have been able to wait for the heart, and I was there when you and your brother had the conversation. Your younger sister's heart was meant for your younger brother, right?" I was shaking like I was struck by lightning and looked at Henry. Henry lifted his glasses with his hand and continued, "I think the real situation should be like this. Due to the derailment and abandonment of her biological father, your mother began to be psychologically paranoid, coupled with drug addiction. She began to go into a trance, and at one point, she used you and your sister as an object of venting, and later, after marrying your adoptive father, your situation didn't get fundamentally changed until your brother was born, and then you only got a little better. But it was all wishful thinking on your part, and you only realized it when your younger brother humiliated you in public. And the real darkness was yet to come. Due to the onset of your brother's illness and not being able to wait for a heart donor, your father and mother would think of using your or your sister's heart to save your brother. You broke down, and your humanity finally indulged in the darkness, and you decided to protect yourself by killing. You lured your brother back and purposely let your brother sleep in your room, so that your mother could kill your brother with her own hands. This plain language went through my chest like a million arrows through my heart. I stood up violently. "Don't say any more." Henry's voice became soft. "I told you, I'm not here to find the murderer. I'm here to find the truth. To a certain extent, the murderer is my savior." I stayed for a while, let out a deep breath, and slowly calmed down. slowly sat down, and poured myself a glass of wine. Well, the truth is harsher than you know. After my younger brother was hospitalized, my mother directed all her anger at my younger sister and me. We suffered a lot, and then my father couldn't stand it anymore and stopped my mother. You and your dad aren't that close, are you? You're too perceptive. I smiled bitterly, a feeling that was hard to talk about. I gradually grew up, and my dad stopped hitting us. But I always felt like someone was spying on my sister and me, especially in the shower, and sometimes sticky liquid would appear on my underwear. Henry sighed. Is it him? Well, it was him, and just when I thought we were finally going to have a good life, he raped me. From then on, I would never worry about food again, but as time went on, my mom still found out, and she pulled my hair and yelled at me for being a whore, and said she should have killed me a long time ago, and I thought at the time that she was just saying that in anger, but now I know that she wanted to kill me then. Later, I got pregnant. Mom wanted to kill me, partly because of my younger brother and probably because of Dad. Since there was no heart donor to save my brother, my dad and mom discussed the matter and decided to pick one person for my sister and me to donate the heart to my brother. Dad chose my sister and mom chose me. Later, I told my dad about the pregnancy, and he told me there was no hurry. When he took a bath at night, he asked me to go in and rub his back. I went. I fought back the nausea and tried desperately to please him, got down on my knees, and begged him to spare my sister and me. He laughed a little. I was going to save Anna for when she was older, but it looks like I won't be able to. But I can't let you go, don't worry. I'll make it quicker for your mom and painless for Anna.